5 colleagues made fun of an obese girl in the cafeteria, without knowing that she was the daughter of the police chief, and when her mother appeared at the door, the silence was more deafening than any scream. Melted chocolate cake ran down Maya Rivera's hair as she tried to wipe her eyes with shaking hands. The Maple Grove diner was packed that Friday afternoon, and every customer turned their head to witness the humiliation. Tyler's high-pitched laugh cut through the air like broken glass. "Sorry, bitch, I thought you were going to eat him anyway." His 4 friends burst into laughter. Madison recorded everything on her cell phone, already imagining the comments the video would generate. Kayla doubled over laughing, holding her stomach. Josh pounded the table with his open hand, tears streaming down his face. And Sarah just smiled, that venomous smile of someone who knows exactly where to stick the knife. Maya was 15 years old and weighed 130 kilos. She knew that group from school. Tyler was the quarterback, Madison the popular cheerleader, Josh the class clown. But Sarah was different. Sarah had once been his friend, until the day he decided that being popular was worth more than being decent. "Look at her," Sarah whispered loud enough for everyone to hear. "You can't even wipe your face without getting winded." Maya took a deep breath, not for the first time, not even for the 10th. This was routine. 3 years of jokes about her weight, 3 years of whispers in the hallways, 3 years of being invisible except when being targeted. But today something was different. She took a napkin and wiped off the chocolate with slow, almost methodical movements. His eyes didn't twitch. His hands stopped shaking. And when he finally looked up, there was something in that look that made Tyler take a step back without realizing it. "Are you done?" Maya's voice was calm, dangerously calm. What those 5 idiots didn't know was that Maya Rivera wasn't there by chance. She had gone to the cafeteria to get lunch from her mother, Captain Diane Rivera, commander of the Portland Central Police Station, the same police station that at that exact moment was investigating a series of break-ins at pharmacies in the region. What about Tyler's father, owner of the largest pharmacy chain in the city? Maya wiped off the last chocolate stain and picked up her backpack. He walked to the door slowly, each step measured as if he were crossing a ring. As he passed Sarah, he stopped for just a second. "You used to be better than this." The sentence hung in the air. Sarah blinked, confused between feeling ashamed or defending the territory in the social hierarchy she had fought so hard to conquer. But before he could respond, Maya was already outside. 3 blocks later, Maya entered the police station with her eyes still red but her posture strangely firm. She passed Sergeant Miller, who raised his eyebrow when he saw chocolate residue in her hair but said nothing. "I knew that look." It was the same thing Captain Rivera had when someone underestimated her. Maya knocked on the office door. Diane Rivera was hunched over a stack of reports, glasses on the tip of her nose, pen between her teeth. When he saw his daughter, he slowly took off his glasses. Very slowly. "What happened?" Maya didn't cry. "I had no more tears to waste on people like Tyler." Instead, he sat in the chair in front of his mother's desk and told her everything, every detail, every word, every laugh. Diane listened in absolute silence. Only her fingers drummed on the table, a rhythmic pattern that Maya had known since she was a child. It was the sound Mom made when she was processing information. "When I was hunting." "Tyler Grayson," Diane repeated the name as if savoring it. "Son of Edward Grayson?" Maya nodded. A tiny smile, almost imperceptible, touched the captain's lips. She pulled a folder from the drawer, the folder I was analyzing when Maya entered, the folder with the Grayson Pharmacy's logo. "Interesting." Maya frowned. "Mother?" Diane closed the folder and looked directly into her daughter's eyes, not with pity, not angry, but with something Maya had never seen before, respect. "You're going back to that diner tomorrow at the same time, and you're going to order the same cake." "Mom, I don't. Do you trust me?" Maya swallowed. Of course I trusted. I trusted that woman more than anyone in the world. Diane had raised her alone after her father disappeared, working double shifts, climbing the career ladder facing sexism and prejudice, teaching her daughter that dignity had no meaning. "I trust. Then tomorrow you come back, and no matter what happens, you don't react. You just watch." There was something about her mother's tone that made Maya's spine tingle, something that promised justice, the kind of justice that didn't come with screams or tears, but with sirens. That night, Maya could barely sleep, not out of fear, but by a strange sensation that began to believe feeling in her chest. The feeling that, for the first time in 3 years, someone was on her side, someone with a badge. And if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because what Maya didn't yet know was that that chocolate cake was going to cost Tyler much more than anyone could imagine. The next morning, Diane woke up before the sun. He picked up the phone and made a call. "Sergeant Miller, I need you to separate the tactical team. We have a warrant to serve tomorrow afternoon. Grayson Pharmacies. And Miller? Make sure the press is in the area. Coincidentally, of course. On the other end of the line, Miller smiled. He knew that tone. Yes, Captain. Saturday afternoon. Maya pushed open the door of the Maple Grove Diner at exactly 2:47 p.m., the same time as the day before. The bell above the door tinkled, and 3 tables turned over at the same time. Tyler was there. Madison, too. Josh munched on a giant burger while Kayla showed something on her cell phone to Sarah. They didn't expect to see her again. I don't believe it, Madison whispered, but loud enough to echo. His cell phone was already in his hand, finger hovering over the record button. The whale has returned to beach itself. Maya walked up to the counter as if she were alone in the place. He ignored the muffled laughter. He ignored Tyler getting up from his chair, exaggerating a stumble as if the ground was shaking. Ignored Josh making whale sounds. She just asked, "A piece of chocolate cake, to go." The attendant, a woman in her 50s named Ruth, looked at Maya with something like pity. She had seen the scene the day before. I had cleaned the chocolate off the floor, and now I saw that girl returning to the same place, asking for the same thing. "Honey, are you sure?" "I have." Ruth hesitated but took the cake. While packing, Tyler approached the counter. He had a smile like he knew he controlled the territory, a smile from someone who had never faced consequences. "Really? You're back?" He leaned over the counter, invading Maya's personal space. "Like, do you like being humiliated, or are you just stupid?" Maya turned slowly. Her eyes met his without blinking, no shaking, and for the second time in 2 days, something in that look made Tyler take millimeters back. "I like chocolate cake." The answer was so simple, so direct, that Tyler didn't know how to respond. Sarah laughed nervously from the back of the diner, trying to break the awkward tension that had formed. "Wow, how pathetic," Sarah shot back. "Aren't you proud? Aren't you ashamed?" Maya took the box from Ruth's hands and left the money on the counter. Before leaving, he looked directly at Sarah, not angry, not with regret, but with something that seemed almost pity. "Shame? Should I be ashamed for liking cake?" Maya took a step towards their table. "Or should you be ashamed that you need to humiliate someone to feel important?" The silence was instantaneous. Josh stopped chewing. Kayla froze with her cell phone in the air. Madison put the phone down without recording, and Tyler just stood there, processing the fact that his victim had just turned the tables. But the pause only lasted 3 seconds. "Ah, shut up, fat bitch," Tyler boomed, voice rising 2 octaves. He grabbed the milkshake from the table and before anyone could react, threw the cold liquid straight into Maya's face. The pink liquid ran through her hair, dripping onto the floor in heavy drops. Ruth let out a muffled scream. 2 customers got up from the tables, indignant, but no one had the courage to intervene. Tyler Grayson was untouchable, son of Edward Grayson, owner of the city. Maya closed her eyes. He took a deep breath, and when it opened again, there was something different. It wasn't anger. It wasn't despair. It was patience. The kind of patience that comes from those who know the storm is coming, but not for it. She wiped her face with her sleeve and walked to the door. As he passed Tyler, he stopped for just a second. "My mother taught me that people who attack others are always hiding something." "What are you hiding, Tyler?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Tyler laughed, but it sounded forced. Josh and Madison laughed too, but the sound was hollow, because somehow, without screaming, without crying, without fighting back, Maya had planted a doubt. Outside, Maya found her mother waiting in the car 2 blocks away. Diane Rivera was behind the wheel of the unmarked police car, sunglasses covering her eyes, but her tense jaw betrayed her contained fury. Maya got into the passenger seat without saying anything. He placed the cake box on his lap, and finally, just then, a tear fell. "He threw a milkshake at me." Diane didn't respond immediately. His fingers tightened on the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. She had seen everything in the rearview mirror. He had seen his daughter being humiliated for the 2nd time in 2 days, and every muscle her body screamed to go into that diner and drag Tyler by the collar. But she was a delegate. I knew that emotional revenge led nowhere. Planned revenge, however. "You did exactly what I asked. Came back. Didn't react. Watched." Diane turned to her daughter, taking off her glasses. "Now tell me, how many security cameras did you see inside?" Maya blinked, confused. 2, 1 at the register, 1 at the door. 3, there's a 3rd behind the counter. And Ruth, the clerk, she's been my informant for 6 years. She's helped me on 4 cases. Diane turned the key into the ignition. "She just sent me today's video, and yesterday's." Maya's eyes widened. Did you plan this? Did I plan for you to go there and get my lunch? Yes. Did I plan for that bunch of idiots to humiliate you? No. Diane placed her hand on her daughter's shoulder. But when it happened, I knew they would do it again. Arrogant people always do it again, because they think they are untouchable. The car started slowly, going around the block. Maya looked at the cake box on her lap, processing everything. "Mom, Why are you investigating Tyler's dad's pharmacies? Diane smiled, a small dangerous smile, the kind that precedes earthquakes. Because 3 months ago 7 Grayson pharmacies were robbed. Always the same pattern. Entry through the back door, alarms deactivated, only prescription drugs stolen. No money, no expensive equipment, just medicine. And last week we discovered that the stolen medicines are being sold on the black market for 3 times the normal price. Diane parked in front of the police station. You know what's most interesting? The robberies always happen on specific shifts. Shifts managed directly by the Grayson family. Maya felt her heart speed up. Do you think they are stealing from themselves? I don't think so. I know. I just need concrete proof. Diane took out her cell phone and showed a series of surveillance photos. And in the last week, we've been able to track down one of the suppliers. He's making a delivery tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon to the main pharmacy. Tomorrow, Sunday? Sunday, the day Edward Grayson personally oversees the stockpile, the day he thinks no one is watching. Diane put away her cell phone. And do you know where the main pharmacy is? Maya knew. Of course I knew. It was on the main avenue, 3 blocks from the school. Tyler loved to brag that he worked there on the weekends, managing employees, acting like he owned the place. Tyler will be there, Maya whispered. Tyler will be there. His father will be there. And the entire gang operation will be there. Diane opened the car door, along with 12 police officers, 4 vehicles, and 3 TV cameras who, coincidentally, will be covering a surprise operation against drug trafficking. Maya got out of the car, still processing. Her mother had turned her humiliation into fuel, not for personal revenge, but for real justice, the kind of justice that put criminals behind bars. That night, Tyler posted a video on Instagram, he and his friends laughing, reenacting the moment he threw the milkshake at Maya. The caption read, "When you teach a lesson to those who don't learn." The video received 200 likes within an hour, 50 comments, 20 shares, and an anonymous report sent directly to the public prosecutor's office for hate speech and cyberbullying. Diane Rivera was unforgiving. She collected evidence. On Sunday morning, while Tyler woke up proud of the likes, without knowing that his world was about to collapse, Maya woke up to a message from her mother. Today you will learn that dignity always wins. Wear something comfortable. Let's make history. What Tyler didn't know was that that milkshake was going to cost a lot more than $5. It would cost his father his freedom and the reputation he so valued. Because at 3 p.m. that Sunday, 12 armed police officers were going to surround Grayson's pharmacy, and Maya would be in the front row to see it all happen. Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Maya was sitting in the back seat of the unmarked police car, parked strategically on the corner of Maple Avenue and Oak Street. From there, he had a perfect view of the main entrance to Grayson's pharmacy, the glass and steel building that dominated the entire block, with the family's surname emblazoned in 10-foot gold letters. Diane was on the phone with Sergeant Miller, checking positions. Alpha team at the back entrance, Bravo covering the sides, Charlie up front waiting for my signal. She checked her watch. We have 90 minutes until delivery. I want everyone invisible until then. Maya watched everything with her heart racing. It wasn't fear. It was something different. Anticipation. For the first time in 3 years, she wasn't just the victim. He was witness to something bigger. Mom, she asked quietly, why did you bring me? Diane hung up the phone and turned to his daughter. His brown eyes had that intensity that Maya had known since she was little, the same intensity she used to interrogate criminals. Because you deserve to see that cowards always fall. Always. Diane pointed to the pharmacy. Tyler humiliated you twice. He recorded it. He posted it online. He laughed at your pain. But do you know what he didn't understand? What? That every action has consequences. That the world will not forgive arrogance forever. Diane took out a tablet and showed it to Maya, and that he was dumb enough to incriminate himself. On the screen, a series of prints of conversations. Tyler talking to Josh on Instagram. Messages dated 3 weeks ago. Tyler, my dad is involved in the drugstore robberies, ha ha ha. Josh, bro, did the guy steal again? Tyler, worse than that, he keeps saying it's an insurance scam, but I know it's not Tyler, because the alarm is always off on the right days, you know, Josh. Suspicious Tyler. Damn, the more they steal, the more he increases the price of medicine to compensate, LOL stonks. Maya's eyes widened. He admitted that his father is profiting from the robberies? Not exactly. But it gave enough evidence for a judge to approve the search warrant. Diane swiped the screen. Josh got scared and deleted his conversation. But Tyler left everything there because he thinks he's untouchable. How did you get that? Diane smirked. Madison, his friend who records everything, posted a video yesterday showing Tyler's cell phone screen by accident. 2 seconds. That was enough for our tech team to zoom in and capture. Maya shook her head, impressed. The mother hadn't improvised anything. Every move was calculated, every piece in place. But there's more, Diane continued. Remember you asked what Tyler was hiding? Find out. She showed another file. Surveillance photos of Tyler entering and leaving the pharmacy at specific times, always on Sundays, always carrying large boxes to the car. He is helping his father transport the stolen medicines, without knowing that he has been filmed for 6 weeks. Maya felt a shiver. Tyler wasn't just a stupid bully, he was an accomplice. And now he was 90 minutes away from being exposed to the entire city. At 2:15 p.m., a black car stopped at the side entrance of the pharmacy. A man came out, mid-30s, leather jacket, heavy backpack on his back. Edward Grayson appeared at the back door and greeted the guy with a firm handshake. It's him, Diane whispered into the radio. Supplier confirmed. Wait for my signal. Maya watched as Tyler appeared at the door right behind her father. He wore a school sweatshirt, cap turned backwards, with that usual arrogant posture. He took the supplier's backpack and entered the building with it. He just touched the illegal merchandise, Diane muttered, taking notes on the tablet. Fingerprints, witnesses, cameras, done. But before giving the signal, she looked at Maya. Do you want to wait here, or do you want to come in with me? Maya blinked in surprise. To enter? You're a minor. Technically, you can't participate in the operation, but Diane tilted her head. You can be with me as a civilian under police protection. And when those doors open, I want Tyler to see your face. I want him to understand who you really are. Maya swallowed. Part of her wanted to stay in the car. Part of her still trembled from the humiliations. But another part, a part that was growing by the second, wanted to see Tyler realize he'd messed with the wrong person. I go. Diane nodded and handed over a children's bulletproof vest. Put this on, and stay behind me at all times. At 2:50 p.m., the operation began. 12 police officers surrounded the pharmacy in absolute silence. The vehicles blocked the exits. 3 press vans coincidentally appeared at the same time, cameras already in position. Diane checked her holstered gun, adjusted her badge, and looked at Maya one last time. Ready? Ready. The deputy advanced to the pharmacy's main door with Maya at her side. Sergeant Miller and 4 other officers followed them. Diane pushed the door hard, and the electronic bell rang. Edward Grayson was at the counter, counting money. Tyler organized boxes of medicine on a shelf. The supplier was drinking coffee in the corner. Everyone turned at the same time. Grayson Pharmacy is officially under federal investigation for prescription drug trafficking, insurance fraud, and conspiracy. Diane's voice echoed firm and clear. Everyone on the floor. Now. Edward went pale. The supplier dropped the coffee and ran to the back, but 2 police officers were already there. Tyler froze, the medicine box still in his hands, and then he saw Maya, standing next to the delegate, wearing a vest, looking directly at him. Recognition was instantaneous. His eyes widened, the mouth opened, the box slipped out of his hands and fell to the floor with a crash. You, he whispered in disbelief. Maya didn't say anything, just crossed the arms and tilted his head as if asking, Did you think I was just a joke? Diane approached Edward, handcuffs already in hand. Edward Grayson, you are under arrest for— This is nonsense, Edward exploded. You have no proof. You have nothing. I have 6 weeks of surveillance. I have conversations of your son admitting knowledge of the scheme. I have the supplier with the backpack full of stolen oxycodone. Diane turned Edward onto his back and fastened the handcuffs with a metallic click. And I have you receiving illegal merchandise on video, recorded 3 minutes ago. Tyler looked from his father to Maya, then to the cops, then to the TV cameras on the street. His mouth trembled, his hands were shaking, and for the first time in his life, Tyler Grayson understood what it meant to be little. Father? His voice was weak. Edward didn't respond. He just lowered his head as he was dragged out. The supplier was shouting about his rights. 2 pharmacy employees were crying in the corner, realizing that they had unknowingly been accomplices. Diane turned to Tyler. His eyes were ice. Tyler Grayson, you're 16, so I'm not going to arrest you today, but I will give you some advice. She took a step forward. The girl you humiliated twice, she's my daughter, and she's got more dignity in her little finger than you'll ever have in your entire life. Tyler looked at Maya, searching for some satisfaction on her face, some revenge smile, but he found only indifference, as if he didn't matter anymore, as if it never mattered, and that hurt more than any insult. Outside, cameras captured everything. Edward being placed in the squad car, the supplier screaming, the pharmacy being sealed with yellow tape, and Maya, standing next to her mother, watching silently as Grayson's empire crumbled. That night, the news opened with the headline, Operation Fake Prescription, owner of pharmacy chain arrested for drug trafficking. The video of Tyler throwing milkshake at Maya, it went viral again, but this time with context, this time with subtitles explaining who his victim was. Son of drug dealer humiliates daughter of police officer without knowing who she is. 50,000 views, 100,000, 500,000, and in the comments, justice. He laughed at her. Now the whole world laughs at him. Never underestimate anyone, never. The delegate raised her daughter alone and overthrew an empire. Respect. Tyler deactivated all social media that night. It didn't help. The video was everywhere. And while he hid in his room, Maya had dinner with her mother eating chocolate cake in the same one she had bought that afternoon. Was it worth it? Diane asked. Maya chewed slowly, savoring, not just the cake, but the feeling that for the first time in years the world seemed a little fairer. It cost, but the story wasn't over yet. Because on Monday morning Maya was going back to school, and Tyler too. And this time, everyone would know exactly who was who. Monday, 7:42 a.m. The Lincoln High School hallway has never been quieter. Maya entered the main gates with her backpack on her shoulder and her head high. Each step echoed on the linoleum floor. Students moved away as if she carried a visible aura, not out of fear, of respect, the kind that comes when you become national news overnight. Cell phones appeared as a reflex, but this time, no one recorded it to make fun of it. They recorded to document, to prove they were there when Maya Rivera, the girl who brought down an empire, returned to school. In hallway B, Sarah was leaning against the closet talking to Kayla. When he saw Maya approaching, his face lost all color. Kayla simply looked down and pretended to use her cell phone. Maya walked past them without saying a word. It didn't need to. Tyler wasn't at school. Obvious. After his face was all over the news next to his handcuffed father, after the milkshake video went viral with 3 million views, after the word accomplice started circulating, Tyler Grayson had become a ghost. But Madison was there, in the central courtyard surrounded by the group of cheerleaders, trying to maintain the pose of popularity even with the cracks appearing. Guys, seriously, no one knew that the cow had a mother. My name is Maya. The voice cut through the air. Madison turned slowly, and for the first time in 3 years, she had to look up, not physically, but socially. Maya was no longer below. It was on the same level, maybe above. I didn't mean, you did. Maya took a step forward. You recorded it. You laughed. You posted it. Don't pretend it was an accident. The surrounding cheerleaders began to move away, creating a vacuum. No one wanted to be around when the bomb went off, but Maya wasn't there to explode. I was there to establish territory. But I understand, Maya continued, her voice calm but cutting. You needed to laugh at someone to feel better about yourself. Tyler needed Ava, humiliate someone to hide that the father was criminal. Sarah needed to leave me to fit in. Madison opened her mouth, but no sound came out. The problem is that you chose the wrong person. Maya tilted her head. And now, the whole city knows that. She turned her back and walked toward the classroom. Behind her, Madison collapsed against the closet, tears already dripping. Kayla tried to comfort, but the damage was done. Lincoln High's social hierarchy had just been rewritten. In the second class, Director Thompson called Maya to the office. She came in waiting for problems. Schools always protected popular bullies. But when the door closed, Thompson simply pointed to the chair. Sit, please. Maya sat. Saved. Thompson was a 50-year-old man, gray hair, 3-year-old eyes dealing with teenagers. He pulled a paste from the drawer and placed it on the table. I read all the reports. 3 years of documented bullying, 12 formal complaints that were archived, 6 teachers who witnessed aggression and did not intervene. He opened the folder, revealing pages and pages. You tried to ask for help and we failed you. Maya blinked, surprised. I didn't expect it. I failed you, Thompson corrected, looking straight into her eyes. Because Tyler Grayson was quarterback, because his father was donated to school, because it was easier to ignore than to face. He closed the folder. But now there is no way to ignore. The prosecution has sent me a subpoena early today. They want all the bullying records against you. For the process. Process? Your mother is processing school, Tyler, Madison, Josh, Kayla, and Sarah for moral damages and institutional neglect. Thompson ran a hand over his hair. And frankly, you'll win, because I can't defend the indefensible. Maya was silent. Processing. The mother had not mentioned process, but of course I didn't. Diane Rivera made no threats, made execution. I just wanted them to stop, Maya said softly. I know, and I'm sorry you had to go through it so that someone would pay attention. Thompson got up and reached out. As far as it is worth, you have my full support, and that of any teacher with conscience. Maya squeezed his hand and left the office with her head still spinning. The process. The subpoena. The entire school being held responsible. At 3:30 p.m. when the bell rang, Maya left the main gates and found 3 TV vans parked in front of the school. Reporters approached microphones and cameras. Maya, how do you feel going back to school after exposing the Grayson family scheme? Did you have any idea that Tyler was involved in trafficking? Your mother commented on the process against no comments. Diane's voice cut the air like a blade. She appeared on Maya's side. Delicate posture, sunglasses reflecting the cameras. He put his protective hand on his daughter's shoulder and both walked toward the car, ignoring the shouted questions. Inside the car, Diane connected the engine and sighed. Sorry for the circus. Everything is fine. Maya looked out the window. Sarah was on the sidewalk watching from afar. When his eyes met, Sarah deflected quickly. Mom, are you really processing school? Processing school, bullies, and anyone who contributed to 3 years of hell. Diane took her glasses. No one hurts my daughter without consequences, no one. And Tyler? Diane smiled. That dangerous smile. Tyler is cooperating with the prosecution, giving testimony against his father in exchange for not being tried as an adult. She parked in front of the police station. He will have a youth criminal record, community service for 2 years, and 0 chance to play football at college. Universities have canceled all scholarship proposals. Maya felt something strange in her chest. It was not joy for his destruction. It was closure. How to watch a bad chapter finally finish. And his father? Edward Grayson will take between 15 and 20 years. The scheme has moved more than $2 million in stolen medications. Diane opened the door. The family is bankrupt, selling everything to pay lawyers. The pharmacy was closed permanently. That night, Maya lay on bed and opened the Instagram for the first time in days. It had 5,000 new followers, hundreds of support messages, 3 invitations for interviews, and a direct message from Sarah. Sarah, I'm sorry. For all. I was cowardly and cruel and you didn't deserve any of that. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I know who was the wrong one. Maya read 3 times. Part of her wanted to answer with anger. Part of her just wanted to block. But the strongest part, the part he inherited from his mother, knew that answering would only give power to those who did not deserve it. She left the message in the visa and blocked. Some bridges do not deserve to be Recon's Truids. On Tuesday morning, Maya woke up with a notification. Tyler had posted an apology public video. He was sitting in the room, red eyes, tremendous voice. I want to apologize publicly to Maya Rivera. I was cruel, inhuman, and Maya paused the video. I didn't need to hear the rest. Excuses forced by lawyers were worth nothing. But do you know what was worth? The email that arrived soon after. From Lincoln High Student Council. Subject: indication for class representative Maya. We would officially like to invite her to run for class representative. After internal vote, you were the unanimous choice. We believe your voice deserves to be heard. Maya read the email 5 times. Representative, unanimous choice. Voice deserves to be heard. 3 years invisible. 3 years silenced. 3 years treated as nothing. And now? Now they wanted her to lead. She looked at the framed photo on the wall. She and her mother on Diane's graduation day as captain. 2 strong women. 2 survivors. Maya typed the answer. Accepted, on the condition that my first proposal is to create a real anti-bullying protocol, with real consequences. It sent. 3 minutes later, the answer arrived. Approved. That afternoon when Maya entered the courtyard of school, something had changed. Not in others. In it. She was no longer fearful to take up space. He walked, knowing that he deserved to be there. And when he passed Madison, there were no curses. When he passed Josh, there was no laughs. When he passed the cheerleaders group, 2 of them shyly waved. The empire had fallen, justice had won, and Maya Rivera, the girl they tried to destroy, was just beginning. Because the best revenge has never been to demean others. It was if they raised so much that they had to look up to see you, and from above, Maya could finally breathe. 6 months later, Maya Rivera was on the stage of the Lincoln High School auditorium, holding a microphone and looking at 300 faces. Some family members, others admired, some, few, still carrying remnants of guilt. When I entered this school 3 years ago, I weighed 110 pounds. Today I weighed 135. She paused. And do you know what the difference? The silence was absolute. Today I don't apologize for existing. The audience exploded in applause. Maya waited for them to decrease before continuing. My name is Maya Rivera. I'm a class representative. I'm the daughter of Captain Diane Rivera, who was recently promoted to Portland Police Regional Commander. More applause. And I'm the girl 5 colleagues tried to destroy with milkshakes and cameras. She saw Madison on the 5th row, low eyes. Josh 2 rows behind, stirring nervously on his cell phone. Kayla on the side, biting her lip. Sarah had not come. He had moved to another school in the 3rd month, not for punishment, but because he couldn't stand the weight of facing Maya every day. Tyler wasn't there either. He was doing the 200 hours of community service in a homeless shelter, serving meals and cleaning bathrooms, every Saturday, for 2 years. His juvenile mugshot photo leaked, and universities from all over the country were invited to invitations even before he applied. Edward Grayson was at the Federal Penitentiary of Oregon, awaiting trial. 18 accusations. zero bail. The empire that took 30 years to build collapsed in 3 weeks. But I'm not here to talk about revenge, Maya continued. I'm here to talk about change, real change. She pointed to the banner behind her, Zero Tolerance Protocol, Lincoln High. From this semester, any case of documented bullying results in immediate suspension. According to case, expulsion, without exceptions. No matter who is your father, how much money your family has, or how many touchdowns you have scored. The auditorium was tense. Some athletes exchanged nervous glances. Cheerleaders looked at each other. But most, the silent majority who always suffered silent, smiled. What's more, we created an anonymous channel of complaints, monitoring by external counselors, not by the school administration, because trusting who failed before it doesn't work. Director Thompson was sitting on his first row, waving his head. He had supported every Maya proposal, not for kindness, for survival. The lawsuit against the school had become state headlines, and the school council had made it clear, change or fall. Maya descended from the stage under deafening applause. Students got up, teachers too, and when she passed the 5th row, Madison rose hesitantly and began to applaud tightly, tears dripping. Maya stopped. He looked at her, and simply nodded. It was not forgiveness, it was recognition that people can change, if you want. Outside, Diane was waiting against the car, arms crossed, proud smile on her face. When Maya left, she opened her arms and her daughter practically ran to the hug. You rocked it inside, Diane whispered. I learned with the best. They got into the car and drove in comfortable silence until they arrived at the city lookout, the same place where Diane took Maya as a child, when they needed to talk about serious things. I have news, Diane said, looking at the city below. Good or bad? Good. Tyler has stated guilty this morning. He will serve 2 more years of conditional but will not have effective arrest. Diane turned to her daughter. And he asked me to give you that. She extended an envelope. Maya took cautiously and opened. Inside, a handwritten letter. The letter was trembling, as if it had been rewritten several times. Maya, I don't deserve your forgiveness. I don't even deserve that you read it. But I need to tell you that all I did was because I was so afraid of being insignificant that I needed to make someone else feel that way. You have never been the problem. I have always been. I lost everything. College, soccer, respect, family. And yet, it's not even close to what you lost for 3 years for me. I don't expect answer. I just hope one day you are happy enough to forget that I existed. Tyler. Maya doubled the letter slowly and put back in the envelope. He looked at the city, to the lights lighting up as the sun set off, and took a deep breath. Are you going to answer? Diane asked. No. Why? Because he doesn't need my validation to move on, and I don't need his to be happy. Maya leaned her head on her mother's shoulder. I am already. And it was true. Maya had registered for 3 universities. He had started a blog about body positivity that already had 10,000 followers. It had been interviewed by 2 magazines and a bullying and overcoming podcast. But more important, she woke up every day without fear, shameless, without carrying the weight of humiliation. 3 months later, Edward Grayson's sentence came out. 22 years with no possibility of parole before 15. The Grayson family sold the mansion, the cars, everything. Tyler and his mother moved to a small apartment in another state, starting from scratch. Madison graduated and went to a community college. Therapy began and, according to rumors, became an activist against cyberbullying. Josh repeated the year and eventually dropped the school. Kayla simply disappeared. She changed town with her family, erasing all social networks. Sarah sent a last message to Maya before deleting Instagram. Sarah, I will never forget who I went, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to be better. Thank you for showing me what dignity is. Maya read, and this time he replied, Maya, good luck. 2 words, but they carried closure. On the last day of school, Maya was cleaning her closet when she found a wrinkled ticket in the background. She immediately recognized the lyrics. It was hers 3 years ago. One day I will care, one day they will see. She held the paper, remembering the frightened girl who had written that, the girl who thought she needed the validation of others to exist, the girl who believed that being invisible was safer than being seen. Maya tore the note slowly and threw it in the trash, because she no longer needed future promises. She already mattered. They already saw. And the best part? She hadn't turned like them. It had not become cruel, bitter, or vindictive. It had become stronger, more compassionate, more aware that pain does not justify inflicting pain. That night at the graduation dinner, Director Thompson gave a speech. This year was transformed to Lincoln High, and if I owe this transformation to someone, it is a young woman who taught us that courage is never to be afraid. It is continuing decent, even when the whole world seems to be against you. He looked straight at Maya. Maya Rivera has shown us that the best revenge is never to destroy who hurt you. It is to build something so great that they have to look up to see you. 300 students got up and applauded standing. Maya felt tears, but this time with joy. Diane, sitting next door, squeezed her hand tightly. "You changed this whole school," she whispered, and didn't even have to scream. Years later, Maya Rivera graduated in law. He specializes in cases of discrimination and bullying. He opened an office that offered free consulting for school abuse victims, and whenever she took a new case, she said the same thing. "You think it's invisible now, but I promise, one day you'll shine so hard that they'll need sunglasses to look at you." And it always worked, because Maya knew, better than anyone, that dignity overcomes arrogance, always. That people who need to reduce others to feel big are never really big. That resilience is not to endure silent, is to lift the head and turn pain into purpose sight. Tyler Grayson never showed up in Portland again. Rumor had it that he worked at a construction warehouse in Nevada, trying to pay off his father's debts. Some said he had changed. Others, he had just learned to hide it better. But Maya didn't think about him anymore, because the best victory was not to destroy your enemy. It was simply living so well that he became irrelevant. And as the sun set over Portland, Maya Riley, now a lawyer, activist and speaker, posted one last photo on Instagram. It was her at 15, covered in chocolate in the cafeteria, and next to her now with a graduation gown and a radiant smile. The caption was simple: "From the cow to the lawyer, dignity always wins." 3 million likes, 50,000 comments. And somewhere, in a city far away, Tyler Grayson saw the photo, and he finally understood what he had missed by underestimating someone. Not the delegate's daughter, but a girl who was always stronger than he would ever be.